Hey, what's up? Zach here, and I have been looking forward to this video for a while now because, at least to me, the Nike Air Zoom GP Turbo is one of the best shoes out there for tennis and outdoor basketball as well as pickleball. It's got the full-length Zoom Air unit, the full-length strobel airbag, as well as a wicked responsive PEVX plate. But all that tech is only as good as the overall build quality of the shoe, so I wanted to see how long does this shoe stay that explosive and responsive. So I sent a pair of these to a teaching pro friend of mine, and I had him playing them for 4 months before giving them back to me, cut open.
Nice.
And for those wondering, this was a different person playing in these than in the Gel Resolution 8 4 months video, so this will be a little bit of a different wear profile. Now these particular GP Turbos got used 50% on clay, 50% on hard courts. They were used for teaching lessons, playing singles and doubles competitively, which was about 4 to 5 days a week. And when I got them back, the first thing I noticed was obviously the fit and feel. You know, after 4 months of use, these felt like slippers. They really did break in a big way, especially in the uppers, whereas a new pair of GP Turbos can feel a little bit bulkier on the forefoot and almost to the point of constrictive. But obviously my biggest question mark would how would that full-length airbag and full-length Zoom unit stack feel, and would it feel as bouncy and buoyant as it did the first day I used them? And to my surprise, almost, yeah. And that subjective feeling of bounce and buoyancy really did bear out during the serve test. I mean, I got 32.9 centimeters, which wasn't that far off from a brand new pair. But what I am seeing though is a lot less resistance to pronation when coming down from my serve. As you can see, the shoe just really bottoming out toward the inside, which really isn't surprising given all the creasing you're seeing on the inside and outside on the midsole foam. And to be honest, I think the little less bounce and resiliency you see from these shoes isn't from the airbag or the Zoom unit, it's from the midsole foam bottoming out. The other thing with the midsole is even though it still feels really cushioned, they now squeak. A lot. And, you know, it makes sense when you think about it. All that sweating over time hardens the interface between the uppers, the midsole, and that airbag. I mean, it's harmless, but, you know, good luck sneaking up on somebody. Now, the treads did hold up decently well. These were 50% played on clay and on hard. I really don't think these are clay shoes, but for a wear profile like that, I mean, you do actually have some pretty significant wearing here in the heel, as well as here it's almost bald in the forefoot, especially right here under the big toe joint, under the medial side where you drag your toes. But even with all that, I still came in at 14.78 seconds on the suicide test. Again, not much different than my original time when I first tried the shoes, and with no slippage at all, which was the part that really shocked me, because I was half expecting to slip and fall in the corners, which has happened in the past. Now the uppers are where the GP Turbo really looks the worst. You can see here in the heel counter you have tearing back here. You also have some ripping here in the forefoot just from all that repeat pivoting. And the tongue here has really lost all of its padding over time. But to their credit, the laces still tie down pretty well. The overall lockdown is still okay. However, I can just definitely feel that ripped heel padding every time I get into them. And most importantly, how did they play after 4 months? Well, honestly, still pretty decent. Even when moving side to side, I still felt great energy return. They still felt responsive, although not as responsive as a new pair, but still better than some brand new shoes I've tried on this year. And what's interesting about playing in them versus tearing them down is you really can tell that the strobel airbag has lost a little bit of air. It's kind of deflated, and what air is left is concentrated under the arch. But however, the playability of them is still really good. So honestly, that strobel airbag doesn't really do much in terms of performance. It really is more for contour and comfort. And along that same vein, even when half volleying where I had to quickly set my feet, I really had no issues maneuvering around with them, and getting up for overheads as well as coming back down was honestly still not bad. But my one significant complaint though was after a little while, my big toe joint did start to feel a little sore. I think that's just because that's where the PEVX always bends in this shoe. So I think after that constant bending over and over, that's the point of the shoe that fails first. And so after a while, you are gonna start to lose the protection of that plate under your big toe joint, and that's where you can start to feel some soreness. But if I had to grade these on their 4-month durability, I mean, I'd be throwing out gold stars of them like they were M&Ms. I honestly thought these would be ripped to shreds, and for them to still be playing this well after 4 months is really a pleasant surprise to me given how initially I liked them so much from my first review. And you know, given all that these offer in initial quality as well as after 4 months of use, I have to say the GP Turbo is kind of the shoe that keeps on giving. Now, if you want to see how I used parts of the GP Turbo to modify, customize, and ultimately fix the Nike React Vapor next, make sure you click in the video up above and subscribe down below. Respect your rubber and foam. I'll see you in the next video.